Yeah, thank you. I'm Tom Barrett, so I serve in the 24th State Senate District right now. I'm a state senator in Michigan, in our Michigan Senate. But really my background's in the Army. I joined the Army right out of high school and took the very first airplane ride of my life to basic training. Ended up serving in Iraq, Kuwait, Guantanamo Bay, and South Korea. The Army, along the way, selected me to go to flight school. I learned to fly some really amazing helicopters. Just retired from the Army earlier this year with a little over 1,000 flight hours as a helicopter pilot. And as I said, deployments around the world. I'm running for Congress because America's on the wrong track. We've got record high inflation, record high gas prices, crime on the rise, a border that's unsecure, and national security concerns. We've got to change course. I'm a dad, I have 4 kids. Live at home with my wife and family in Charlotte, raising a family like so many others in this district, and I'm motivated to run for Congress to have a voice for people like me and my family and the other families in our district.
Gotcha. And currently, state representative,
state senator.
State senator. Excuse me. Sorry. So what what have you? I guess what's one thing you've done as a state senator that you're proud of and you want voters to know about?
Yeah. Well, I've worked in a bipartisan way with a number of my colleagues in a lot of different ways. I'm the only Iraq War veteran in the Michigan Senate. When I was elected to the House of Representatives, I was the only Iraq War veteran when I was elected to the House of Representatives. There was a devastating audit that came out on our state home for veterans in Grand Rapids, and I led the fight to make sure that our veterans were treated fairly, properly, and with respect. They had a terrible audit that showed abuse and neglect allegations went uninvestigated. They were understaffed 80% of the time. I insisted on taking my committee, the House Committee on Military and Veteran Affairs that I chaired, to the actual home for veterans to hear from them directly, and within 1 year they had a tremendous turnaround in the quality of life for these veterans. I've also worked on bipartisan issues for veterans with service-connected disabilities to make sure that they're receiving their appropriate benefits and that they have the rights that are afforded to them. There was an issue with veterans who had invisible wounds that had service dogs that were being turned away from establishments here in Michigan, so we changed the law. I worked with a bipartisan coalition to change the law here in Michigan to give them appropriate protections and to also crack down on people who were faking service animals in order to take their pets on an airplane or something like that, to make sure that our laws were very clear. And then most recently worked with Senator Curtis Hertel, who represents an adjacent district to mine. I'm a Republican, he's a Democrat, and we work together on a piece of legislation that allows individuals who have autism or another communication impediment to notify the state law enforcement system of that. They can voluntarily disclose that into the state law enforcement information system, a confidential system that only law enforcement officers can access, so that if they're ever pulled over or have an encounter with law enforcement, it would show and flag on there that this person has a communication impediment, so that the police officer is better prepared for how they interact with that person. It was led by an individual in my district, a constituent of mine, who's an autism advocate in our community. He brought this forward to the state legislature. I was proud to work on it with him. We got that bill passed unanimously and signed into law by Governor Whitmer just a couple of years ago.
And moving on to something you mentioned earlier, inflation and the economy. It's one of the most important issues to voters this election cycle. What do you think could and should be done by Congress to try and get inflation under control?
Yeah, my opponent talks about how she hears about inflation from people in the district. I live it. I'm raising a family. I have 4 kids that my wife and I are raising. Our grocery bill is $70 to $100 a week more now, with the cost of living going up and the cost of groceries and everything else on the rise. Everything from a gallon of milk to a gallon of gas is going up right now. We've got to stop this runaway spending going on in Washington, D.C. that is leading to these record high cost of living increases. It's increasingly becoming unaffordable for working families in my district and across America to be able to afford the basic necessities of life. We have to stop what they're doing. They are just doubling and tripling down on spending more and more and more money, which devalues all of the money that each of us are earning or maybe have in our savings, and makes that money far less valuable, which makes the costs go up that much higher.
And moving on to another focus that in a Pew Research poll, what voters said was most important to them going into this election, I think it was 60% said violent crime is something they're concerned about. So what do you think that, what could you do in Congress, what should Congress do to help voters feel safer?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Lansing, Michigan is the central geographic city of the district in which I'm running. and it was ranked as high as the 9th most dangerous city in America just recently by FBI statistics. They had a record-breaking number of murders in 2021 in Lansing, and that crime is now spilling over into other surrounding communities, and it's spreading. Everything from identity theft to murder is on the rise in America right now, and it's a trajectory that is unsustainable, and we have to stop it in its tracks. I am focused on making sure that everybody, regardless of socioeconomic status, racial, whatever their race, gender, ethnicity, or socioeconomic status, everyone deserves to live in a safe community where they can send their kids outside to play, where they can send their kids to walk to school and not be worried about violent crime. We have to do more to address that. We have a plan to hire hundreds of thousands of new police officers to make sure that they are working and providing safe neighborhoods and safe communities for people of every single walk of life in America. And then we have to hold these county prosecutors accountable, like those in Ingham County who are supporters of my opponent. We have to hold them accountable when they refuse to enforce the law. Crime is on the rise, and these rogue prosecutors refuse to actually hold people accountable for their decisions when they break the law, and we have to stop them from doing that. We have to have accountability. It's a huge piece of why I'm running. We can't continue on the path that we are with this crime on the rise.
And gun violence in particular has been, seems like on the rise in different areas. It's been, gun legislation has been brought up in Congress. I guess, what are your thoughts on gun legislation, and what do you think should change, if anything, about America's current gun laws?
Well, number one, in Ingham County right now, the prosecutor refuses to enforce gun laws. So we can't go out and create new gun laws without even enforcing the laws that we have on the books right now. She refuses to prosecute for felony firearm possession and felony firearm violations. We need to enforce the laws that we have. And people like Carol Seaman, who are the prosecutor in Ingham County, refuse to enforce the law. They're directly supportive of my opponent, and it is this weak on crime position that has put us in the position that we're in now. We have to enforce the laws and hold people accountable for their behaviors.
Gotcha. And following up on a question we had sent out to candidates probably a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, regarding election security. We didn't get a response back to your campaign, but I wanted to know what your thoughts are on election security, and would you accept the results of this election?
Yeah, we're absolutely willing to accept the results of this election. The people in this district are going to have their voice heard, and we know that we will be in a position to win this race. The polls are very, very close. This is the most expensive congressional district now in the entire country. It is hanging in the balance. Do we want to continue down the path that we are of a candidate and a member of Congress who votes 100% with Joe Biden and has led to every outcome decision that we are now all facing, families like mine in this district facing all of these challenges? Or do we want to elect a member of Congress who will be a check on the Biden administration, hold them accountable, and actually move the country back in the right direction? I think everybody in America realizes that the country is on the wrong track. I'm running to change direction and put America back on the right track. Absolutely, the voters in this district are going to make their decision, and I am highly confident that we're going to see a change in leadership in Washington.
And when it comes to abortion, after the overturning of Roe v. Wade, it's kind of been up to the states a bit to decide. It's on the ballot here in Michigan with Proposal 3. Now, do you think this should be a state or federal issue? And what are your opinions on the matter of abortion?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, people in Michigan are going to have their voice heard on Proposal 3. This is a radical, late-term, taxpayer-funded, with no parental consent abortion proposal that's on the ballot. It is something that would be placed into our state constitution, would nullify every other statute regarding abortion in the under the Michigan law right now. It's very radical. It's embraced by my opponent. I oppose it. Ultimately, after the Supreme Court decision, this is going to be principally decided by the states, and that's where people will have their voice heard at the ballot this November. I'd encourage people to do their research on that proposal, and when they look into the details, they'll see quite how extreme that it really is.
And your overall position on abortion?
I'm pro-life. That's something that I've had as a position of conviction and conscience since I've been a candidate for office. People know that about me. I think life is valuable and important. I can't imagine what it's like to be in a position to be facing a pregnancy that's unwanted or unexpected, or one that you don't feel prepared for. It's one of the reasons I've been a leading advocate and supporter for crisis pregnancy centers, which are clinics where women can go and have people support them along their journey and support them along that path, that just simply want to help women with no questions asked and no judgment whatsoever when they're facing a true crisis. And unfortunately and really sadly, Elissa Slotkin, my opponent, led the fight in Congress to try and shut down crisis pregnancy centers and strip away any access to information for women who are facing a crisis. She authored a letter, led the fight, and authored a letter in Congress demanding that big tech take away any reference to crisis pregnancy centers from the internet at all for women who are seeking that option. All they're trying to do, these are volunteers. My wife and I have even volunteered at a crisis pregnancy center before. They're just simply trying to help women in a true time of need. And instead of embracing that and trying to reduce the number of abortions, something that I think all of us feel is an objective and a goal that we should have in mind, instead Elissa Slotkin has tried to shut them down and provide only abortion as an option for women, and I think that's terribly sad.
As far as being pro-life, are you with exceptions at all?
As I said, I'm pro-life. I think that life is valuable. I think that life is important, and we ought to do everything we can to protect life. I'm pro-life, and that includes the life of the mother. You know, I think that it's something we ought not be taking a life except in the instance where it presents a threat to another life, and that's something that I think is certainly a moral conviction, but it's also backed up by the science. We know with scientific certainty that life begins in the womb, and we ought to be respecting that. And I'm certainly in favor of doing everything we can to help women in a true time of need, to help them along that way, to carry their baby to term. And in the time I've spent at some of these crisis pregnancy centers, I've never once found an instance of a woman who carried her baby to term and regretted it later. And I think we ought to be doing everything we can to support them along the way.
So when it comes to infrastructure, are there any big projects that you think need to happen here in the state of Michigan? And what would you do to kind of secure funding for those projects?
Yeah, definitely. It starts with prioritizing our funding, and we've done that at the state level in the state budget to make sure that we invest resources into infrastructure. My opponent is attacking me because I opposed a corporate welfare slush fund that was created in the state legislature that's now going to spend close to $2 billion of state taxpayer money, not on infrastructure where the needs are the greatest, but on corporate welfare cash giveaways to private global corporations to the tune of over $160,000 for every job they're supposedly going to create. So this program was set up to allegedly create jobs, but the jobs are going to cost taxpayers over $160,000 per job created. The jobs are only required to last 6 months. And most recently, Ford Motor Company received a $101 million corporate welfare cash subsidy from the state of Michigan to create 3,000 jobs. And they instead laid off 3,000 workers 2 months later and kept the money. We ought to be investing that into our infrastructure to make sure that we are building out roads, bridges, dams, and everything else that we need to in our state to shore up our crumbling infrastructure. For the amount of money that has been spent on these corporate welfare subsidies, we could pave a brand new highway from the Capitol building in Lansing all the way to the Mackinac Bridge and back, and have money left over and pay for it in cash with no debt. But instead of doing that, they've been taking your tax dollars and working families' tax dollars out of their back pocket and giving it away to their privileged corporate funders and backers. I'm opposed to that. I'm a Republican, but I've stood steadfast in opposition to corporate welfare schemes that disadvantage working taxpayers for the benefit of these global, private, profitable corporations.
Are there any other issues that we didn't touch on that are that you want to bring up? Anything else we're kind of missing? Anything you want voters to know?
Yeah, I think gas prices are important to point out. Day one of Joe Biden's presidency, he shut down the Keystone XL pipeline. My opponent has not done anything to hold him accountable for that. She supports Gretchen Whitmer's plan to shut down Line 5, which would cripple our energy security in our state. Michigan is the leading state for residential home heating that is done by propane, which is vital. My family and I live on a propane as our source of home heating in the wintertime. It would destabilize that entirely, and Elissa Slotkin supports Governor Whitmer's plan to shut down Line 5, putting families like mine and thousands, millions probably of other Michiganders at risk. She wants to tap into the strategic oil reserve and completely deplete that down to nothing. We have the lowest strategic oil reserve volume that we've had in my lifetime, and that's in part due to Elissa Slotkin encouraging the Biden administration to do that. She claims to be a national security expert, but she is putting all of us at risk by depleting the strategic oil reserve because of a political crisis of high gas prices that they don't want voters to be looking at as they go into the polls here in just over 3 weeks. That's a problem, and we need to be candid about that. We need to definitely develop and utilize all of the energy resources we have in our own country, not be dependent on foreign countries, and not completely running the well dry in the strategic oil reserve. Okay. The other big issue that is very paramount in this campaign is border security. We have a border that is completely unsecure, more than 2 million illegal border crossings just in the last year. We have had 80 people or more who are on the terror watch list that have been apprehended at the southern border, and we have no idea how many are among the millions of gotaways that we have no idea who they are, what their intentions are for our country. Meanwhile, we've seen a surge in illicit drugs and fentanyl pouring into every community across America. We are 1,500 miles right here from the southern border, and we're a border town because fentanyl is now penetrating every single community in our state. It's the leading cause of death of Americans age 18 to 45. It's coming directly across our border. The cartels are emboldened. They're moving product across the border. It's a humanitarian crisis. It's a national security crisis. Joe Biden and Elissa Slotkin have done nothing to secure the border, and we have to secure our border first and foremost. It is a dire need. It's a national security issue, and it's a neighborhood security issue as well, and it's a humanitarian issue on top of that.